This season of The Ones Who Succeed is brought to you by Skillshare.
You have to be relentless in your commitment to solving the problem, almost to an addictive level. It's like nothing's going to stand in your way because you're addicted to this notion of solving the problem and bringing the thing to life.
Hi, my name is Campbell Baron, and I'm a 15-year-old entrepreneur and content creator. And you are watching my video podcast, where each week I meet with inspiring entrepreneurs and talk to them about their journey to success. Hear their stories, experiences, and firsthand what it took to succeed in their field. Why am I doing this? Because I want to learn from the ones who succeed. And you can too. Another episode of The Ones Who Succeed. I'm Campbell Baron, and today I'm joined by my wonderful guest, Michael Dubin. So Michael is the founder and CEO of Dollar Shave Club. And for the few people who do not know what Dollar Shave Club is an online subscription service that ships men's razors and shaving accessories on a monthly basis for a very affordable price. Dollar Shave Club has over 4 million members worldwide and was acquired by Unilever in 2016. Michael, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Thanks for joining us.
So, like most people, I found out about Dollar Shave Club through the hilarious ad.
Our blades are great.
And we'll get to that in a sec, but I just want to start this off with kind of talking about where you came from, your childhood. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up just outside of Philadelphia, in a suburb called Ballackinwood, and then my family moved to Bryn Mawr when I was probably 13 or 14.
Mm-hmm. And what were you like as a kid?
Let's see. As a young kid, I was very. I had a lot of hobbies, or at least I thought I had a lot of hobbies. It was hard to hold my attention because I was into a little bit of everything.
What about school? Did you enjoy it? Were you a good student?
I was not a great student. Like I said, it was kind of hard to keep my attention. I was kind of into whatever it is that I was into. And usually that was sports or, theater or the extracurriculars. I would say I was not the world's most amazing student.
So let's fast forward a little bit. Like, when did you realize you wanted to be an entrepreneur, or you were interested in that?
Well, I think when I was younger, I always was interested in selling things. I remember when I was young, my sister and I and some of the kids in the neighborhood, we would grab some of my grandmother's stuff off the shelf, some books and some other odds and ends, and we would bring them out to the street and put them on a table and just kind of sell them to people driving by. Yeah. And that was super fun. I don't know why I found it particularly fun, but there was just something inherently exciting and fun about taking things that other people found value in and selling it to them. And so that was a fun experience. So I think from a very early age I was into that idea.
So Michael started his career working for NBC in the media industry. However, while working the day job, he was always coming up with new business ideas, like a tourism social network that he started in 2006, but it didn't go very far. That being said, instead of quitting altogether and giving up on entrepreneurship, Michael simply brushed it off. And that really interests me. So you started this kind of tourism social network, right? Before Dollar Shave Club. And I presumably people said it's not going to succeed or it's going to fail. And I guess they were right. But with Dollar Shave Club, people said that it's not going to succeed and it's going to fail. Right. And they were really wrong. So how do you know when to quit? How do you know when a bad idea is a bad idea?
It's a great question, and I get this question a lot. I think it's, I guess it comes down to qualifying why your idea isn't working. Is it not working because there really is no consumer need for it? Or is it not working because it's too hard for the consumer to really understand what it is that you're selling, which can be the case with a lot of service style businesses or apps even. It's like, what's the usefulness for this product, so to speak? Is it not working because you just kind of haven't gotten the word out yet, and it is a great product and there is a product market fit? There are a lot of reasons why something might not be working. I think is not working because you don't have the right talent. I think it's important kind of always to look at why it's not working and dissect that as deeply as you possibly can, because the answer of whether you should keep going or if you should put it down for a little bit and then wait is always in the kind of why it's not working. There's a lot of ideas that didn't work the first time around in society, and then 15 years later, people try them again, and then they work because the market had time to catch up. And sometimes an idea is just too early. That can be a reason why it's not working. You're just too early to market. You're ahead of the market. So I think that you have to be really rigorous in your analysis of why it's not working, and then decide whether or not it's worth stopping or continuing.
So I asked Michael one of my favorite questions. Is entrepreneurship taught, or are you born an entrepreneur?
Is this because everybody has business ideas, right? So it's more than just having the actual business idea.
Execution.
You have to be able to, with limited resources, sort of find a way to get the critical work done and bring the project along. You don't have to bring it all the way home, but you have to be able to, kind of solve critical problems and weave it all together to get an early beta version live somehow. And so I think that's probably the critical skill is are you a really good problem solver? Whereas some people, you'd ask them to go figure out, one of the early things that we had to do in DSC was figure out how we're going to ship, right? And I don't have a logistics and shipping background. So what did I do? I said, okay, well, that's a problem that can be solved. I'll just start at the post office, right? And I'll start by Googling, how do I ship my products? And sure enough, there were a list of services there that we're offering. And you test each one and you negotiate the best rates and you go on and on. But, you say to yourself, how am I going to weave all this together and solve the critical problems? And to me, that's what an entrepreneur does really well. I think you have to have certain traits certain character traits endemically that can't be taught to be able to be a successful entrepreneur. I think one of those traits is you have to be relentless in your commitment to solving the problem, almost to an addictive level. It's like nothing's going to stand in your way because you're addicted to this notion of solving the problem and bringing the thing to life. And then I think another one is you have to see how you can uniquely weave together A plus B to equal D, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that not all people have.
Coming up, I continue my conversation, but first, a quick message from our sponsor. This season of The Ones Who Succeed is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 20,000 classes in business, marketing, technology, design, and more. You can take classes in social media marketing, video editing, entrepreneurship, you name it, they've got it. So whether you're trying to deepen your professional skill set, start a side hustle, or just explore a new passion, Skillshare is there to keep you learning and thriving. So join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today, because Skillshare is offering the first 250 people who click the link in the description 2 months of unlimited access to over 20,000 classes, all for free. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/succeed. Again, that's Skillshare.com/succeed to start your first 2 months now. That link is also right here on the top right corner of this video, and a special thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this season. So fast forward a couple years and Michael realizes a new business opportunity. He notices that the experience of purchasing razors is flawed, and in most cases where there's a problem, there's a solution.
I'd always sort of bristled at the price of razors and the shopping experience. And, I would milk the same old razor over and over again because it was, easier to do that than to go out of my way and spend 20 minutes to get these razors. And, that was kind of when I was living in New York, where you had to walk by 100 drugstores on your way home from the office. And then I had the good luck to bump into a friend whose father had a warehouse full of razors, and that gave me the opportunity to sort of test that concept. That was a few years later.
So Michael did test the concept and launched the site with a hilarious video explaining what it does.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah. $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great.
I wrote that video because I had sketch writing training, and I asked a woman that was also a friend of mine who I had studied with in New York to direct it. We shot it over the course. I wrote it over the course of a month. We shot it over the course of one day, and we edited it and we launched it in March of 2012. And I don't think any of us were expecting it to go viral, but I think that what made it go viral was the combination of a few different things. One was the content was good. Number two was it was actually tied to a business that actually solved a real problem for guys, which is that, razors were overpriced and the shopping experience was pretty frustrating. So it wasn't just like a funny video. There was a lot of funny videos on the internet. It was the fact that it was a funny video coupled with this, with this business concept. And I think that's what sort of propelled it forward.
Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And then, so you launched with this video, you created it. And how did it blew up. You got a bunch of orders, or a bunch of signups after it aired. How did you fund this? How did that, was it self-funded? Did you raise money from friends
Raised
and
a little
family?
bit of, well, I self-funded it up until probably January of 2012. And then we closed our first round of seed funding, which is $100,000 from an investor in Santa Monica. And that was...
But when that was before the video went live.
That was all before the video went live.
And then it went live.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up!
And then it went live. Well, we'd raised $100,000 in January, and then we raised I think $1 million right at the beginning of March. And then after that video launched, a few months later, we raised about $10 million.
Yeah. So then it launched, and then what happened?
And then we sold out of inventory. The site crashed. It was sort of a scramble. I think I blacked out for 6 months while we just sort of scrambled to keep everything going and hire a bunch of people and scale up and then go out and raise more venture capital.
Did the site crash scare you, or did it excite you? Like that's like probably one of the best problems you can have.
It is. I mean, I thought that it was going to be.
Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay.
I don't think any of us were expecting the site to crash or for us to get as much traffic as we did. So clearly we were unprepared for that. But yeah, I think that's a scary moment because you're in this one moment, you have this massive success, this unexpected success, and then you think, well, I might not be able to cash in on it.
However, as you know, Dollar Shave Club did cash in on it. And not just with revenue, because in 2016, Unilever acquired the company for $1 billion. So you're building this company, you have a bunch of users. And then how did that happen? Did you approach Unilever? Did Unilever approach you? How did that?
We met at a dinner. I met one of their senior executives at a dinner. We started talking about the industry and where we wanted to go and how that complemented one of their own sort of strategic visions to reduce their strategic imperatives to reduce their reliance on traditional retail. And there was a lot of opportunity for us to go further faster with them as a partner.
So like you mentioned earlier on, you have tons of ideas. You seem like the guy who has tons of ideas. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, in 10 years, I'll be 50, and I can't say for sure. I'd like to say that I've been able to maintain a successful business track record, whether that's here or somewhere else, probably have a family, and be able to give back in measurable ways, because I think that anybody that's successful, noblesse oblige, they need to give back.
All right, well, Michael, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you. See you, see you, see you.
I never did this for fame or glory or any of that. I wanted to start businesses because, I like to create and I like to build, and I always wanted to find a way to do that.
This girl asked me if she's the only one. I gotta be blunt, I say, hell yeah. This girl asked me if she's the only one. I gotta be blunt, I say, hell yeah.
I think most people, as you talk to people who've started things, like I really believe it's a calling. Mm-hmm. Like you get the message and you pick up the phone and you answer the call and then you go do it. And there's really no question.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you. I know karate, I got some mojo and holding hands ain't something I do that's true. I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu.